Ah, yes, the scam before, everybody's favorite video game to pre-order. I remember fucking seeing the trailer for it some time ago when some people showed it to me and said that it looked like the best game ever. And while I admit I didn't give two dicks about it back then, something hit me wrong about it. There was just something about it that reminded me of The Division, but there was also something else there. You know, the trailers had the overly cinematic movement, the talking between two people that was clearly scripted, the movement, the way they showed everything off. There was just something there that didn't ring right with me, and I thought, well, maybe it's just gonna be another The Division type of game, where people get hyped for it, play it for 12 minutes, get sick of it, and move on to the next piece of shit they're gonna pre-order. Even back then, when I wasn't paying attention, I just knew there was something off about it. But, you know, third-person looter-shooter, Escape from Tarkov ripoff, where it's just, you have a safe zone, you go into a zone, you go around, loot, fight, whatever, and then you go back into the safe zone. That sort of game that is absolutely everywhere nowadays. I must admit, I didn't expect jack diddly dick from it, and I thought it would be the last time I ever heard from it. Then I saw another trailer for it, I happened to come across it by chance, and I looked at it, and I realized that it was so scripted that it made the Sony game's gameplay look legit. And when a modern Sony title looks like it has more gameplay and better gameplay than your trailer, then you know there's something wrong there. But still, people bought into the hype. It was one of the most, if not the most, pre-ordered game on Steam, if I'm not mistaken. And I remember thinking to myself, well, this is gonna be a massive scam, isn't it? It's gonna be one of those games that is just overhyped in trailers and overpolished in trailers and then ends up being shit when it releases. And I saw all the people pre-ordering it, and I thought to myself, well, how fucked is gaming nowadays when you can just have a very pretty trailer and people will pre-order it? It's really stupid how so many people still pre-order nowadays, because copies are basically unlimited. You only pre-order if it's like a special physical edition that has like rewards or whatever. You're only supposed to pre-order if you're afraid that the physical copy will run out, which is what I did in the past. And I just fucking knew that when this game came out, if it even did come out, there would be a fucking internet shitstorm for people that are too stupid to have pattern recognition. You know, the sorts of people that complain about product and then get excited for next product, which is exactly the same product. I just fucking knew that there was gonna be a shitstorm, but I did not expect this. So, the day before it comes out, it releases, and it's apparently even worse than some of the most negative people thought it was gonna be. It advertises itself as an MMORPG, when all you do really is go from the safe zone in your hub area to a city where you loot and shoot and shit. Rinse and repeat and rinse and repeat. North is where the loot is, south is where nothing is. By the way, that's not what an MMORPG is. So it falsely advertises itself, is buggy as all balls. The combat looks like it was developed last week, making early access pre-alpha games look polished in comparison. The game looks like absolute ass, looking like an early PS3 title, and that's being generous. By the way, the PS3 came out in 2006, 17 fucking years ago. But yeah, the game looks disgusting, everything looks broken, feels broken, is boring, there's nothing to do, it's just like the regular DayZ. People were shocked, so shocked by the low quality of it, somehow, even though it was obvious from the trailers that everything was faked in order to make something modestly cinematic. And then 4 days, yes, 4 days after release, the company that made The Day Before announces that it's fucking shutting down. So the game that was obviously false advertised, full of false advertising, it wasn't even a real game up until very recently, as you can tell by just looking at a single screenshot from the game, that people were too stupid, modern gamers were too stupid to notice was obviously fake, successfully scammed Lord only knows how many fucking people, and then it fucking dipped, the company's shutting down, the website's gone, the Discord's gone, the tags that show you what the game is about are gone on the store page, and now the people who spent Lord knows how much time fanboying for the release of this game, the people who spent hours and hours discussing this game, and the people who played it for more than 2 hours, which is the limit for a refund, got scammed out of their money. The company that promoted this scam and that made this scam dipped, and now your little piece of shit game is fucking unplayable, basically. The game costs $40, by the way. Now, I could do what every other YouTuber and their mother and their niece are doing nowadays and talk about how this is just a scam that is just so dishonorable to do. But you know what? That's fucking obvious, and you don't come to me to be a parrot, you come to me to actually hear the truth and actual opinions. You know what? I don't even give a fuck that this game was a scam. I mean, I do, but only a little bit. What I actually have to say is, how fucking stupid are people nowadays to keep falling for this shit over and over and over again? If you've been playing video games and seeing video game trailers and such for the last, not even a lot of years, like 1 or 2 years, you know better than most, that one thing that's been happening for many years now, since Watch Dogs 1, is that the companies will show you trailers that are obviously over-polished, obviously over-cinematic, and then dumb down the release to fuck. To the point where you may as well not even look at any trailers nowadays because they just never ever actually represent the game itself. The Last of Us 2, or the PowerPoint 2 as I like to call it, because you spend more time watching cutscenes than you actually do playing the game, is one of those examples. An awful game with awful writing that is held up by its cinematic set pieces that people fanboyed over to fucking no end. Starfield, another game that looked really pretty, it looked so good, it looked so pretty, and then it ended up being a piece of shit with nothing to do. Spider-Man 2, another game where it's just mostly watching cutscenes, and I say mostly, not literally, but figuratively, where you spend more time helping a gay kid get fucked than you do actually fighting bad guys. And over a fucking decade of games over-promising and under-delivering in general, particularly on PC. And yet, despite the fact that people make fun of others when they fall for this shit, they also fall for this shit themselves. All that has to happen nowadays for you to make easy money is make a fucking overly cinematic trailer for a game that just looks cool, promise the fucking world, promise everything, and people who have fallen for this shit before will fall for it again. I would say bad on you, scamming companies, bad on you for tricking people, but you know what? Good for you for making the point that people nowadays are too fucking stupid to have the basic human function of pattern recognition. My little brother is 13, he plays Fortnite, I have nothing against him, he is the best little brother ever. Did I tell you he bought me a Switch? But even he would never fall for this sort of crap, and the fact that adults who have been playing for longer than some people have even been alive, are still falling for this shit. It's honestly shocking to me how people still fall for this shit. Stop fucking falling for this. Stop looking at cinematic trailers and then getting overhyped when a company over-fucking promises. Stop pre-ordering digital games which are not going to run out. When the game comes out, you are still going to be able to download it. Pre-ordering is not fucking worth it. And 9 years after the release of Watch Dogs, the original overhyped game, you fucking deserve to get scammed if you're at the point of still falling for this crap. Because apparently, it's still too hard for people to wait like 5 hours, or 6 hours, or 1 day after a game releases to see if it's actually what was promised. Shock, surprise, amazement, the game wasn't what was promised. It was obvious from the trailers, and still a lot of people fell for it. And now this company full of scammers is the people who made the day before are gone. They're deleting their presence from the internet, they got your money, and they ran with it. I hope people stop falling for this and start having actual demands. But you know, by the time 2024 rolls around, it's the same fucking thing's gonna happen. There's gonna be cinematic trailers, everybody's gonna get hyped, people are gonna pre-order it, and it's gonna be a piece of shit like usual. But hey, it's easy content for YouTubers who can make a quick buck talking about people being stupid again. So, good for YouTubers, bad for the people who are too stupid to have basic human functionalities. Thank you guys for watching, thank you guys for rating, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.